Hello everyone, welcome to Deepti's biology class. Let's continue with chapter 2 sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So what is actually the reproductive part of a plant? The reproductive part of the plant is nothing but flower. This is actually the modified shoot or modified stem. Let's see the parts of a flower, then I will tell you why do we consider flower as a modified stem. The part which involved in reproduction is first one is pistil, which is the female portion, and the second one is the stamen, that is the male portion. What the pistil is made up of? Pistil made up of ovary, style and stigma. Ovary, style and stigma. If you want to look at this one separately, there will be a stigma followed by a stalk-like structure, and this ovary will be there. Within the ovary, these ovules are there. This entire structure, that is ovary, style and stigma, together termed as pistil. Now pistil is also termed as carpel. Pistil is also termed as carpel. Now what about this stamen? Stamen is the male reproductive structure which consists of a long stalk-like structure. We call it as filament. On the top of this filament there is a swollen bag-like structure. We call it as anther. Now what this anther contains? Anther has these powdery substances. These are nothing but these are the pollens or pollen grains. So which are the important part? This is the stamen, the male sexual part of a flower. If you look at this one, this stalk-like structure and this yellow bulb-like structure. And this entire axis is the female carpel, which is also termed as pistil. Now apart from these structures, so these are the reproductive structures. So every flower has two parts. One is essential. We classify the parts of flower into two: essential and non-essential or accessory parts. What are these essential parts? Essential parts are pistil and stamen because these are involved in reproduction, thus continuity of the generation. Now what are accessory parts? Accessory parts are nothing but these colored structure, we call it as petals, as well as the sepal and all other structures. Why these are accessory? These helps in reproduction. So what is essential and accessory? Essential is involved in reproduction. Accessory are helping in reproduction. How? These petals and all those structures, they attract the insects, right? Why? These insect and all those, if they are coming, they help in the process of pollination. Now few more terms need to be understood from this one. The first one is gynoecium. What is gynoecium? Group of pistils, or else simply we can say that the female reproductive portion in group, we call it as gynoecium. That all as a layer. Here we have only single structure, right? Some flowers they are having many. In such situation, the female reproductive part is termed as gynoecium. You can remember in terms of gynecologist. You know gynecologist, right? The one who treat the female reproductive disorders. Same way, this layer is related to the female reproductive part of a flower. And the second one is androecium. So what is androecium? These are related to male reproductive portion. Like see, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These all together we call it as androecium. So group of stamens are termed as androecium. Group of pistil or carpel. What is another name of pistil I told here? Some minute change is there, but interchangeably we can use the term carpel. Group of pistil or carpel is termed as gynoecium. If there are group of sepals which are present there, we call it as corolla. So what are corolla? Group of petals, right? How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe more are there, right? Group of petals we call it as corolla, and group of these green color structure, what is this? Sepals, are termed as calyx. And instead of the term group, we use a term called whorls. WHORL. So what are whorls? Whorls are another term given for group. So how many whorls are there in a plant? There are 4 whorls. Which are they? Calyx, the lowermost one, which has group of sepals. Second one is corolla. Corolla has group of petals. And the third one is androecium, which has stamens. And the fourth one is gynoecium, which has group of these pistils. Now you can see one term here, that is pedicel and receptacle. So what are these pedicel? Stalk of a flower is termed as pedicel, and the receptacle, which is also termed as thalamus. Receptacle is also termed as thalamus. This is the base of the flower on which all other floral parts are attached. For example, normally we draw a receptacle or thalamus as this way, and on which there will be this ovary along with this style stigma, whatever it is there. Then these stamen will be there, these petals are located, and the more then there will be sepals which are located. So all floral parts are located on this receptacle. So how many whorls are there? There are 4 whorls which are there in this particular flower which we have drawn. Now I told you flowers are nothing but modified shoot. Suppose this is one of the meristem, right? And these lines indicate node, right? On this top of this meristematic tissue, just I am making this particular structure, we call it as our pistil. Now next what will be there? Suppose there is another stalk, on this there will be the stamen. Then there can be this petal and there can be the sepal. Just you imagine in every node these type of structures are coming. Now you imagine a situation, this structure get compressed or pressed. What do we get? We will get the same structure, right? In the centermost region there will be this pistil, right? Then followed by the stamen, this petals and this sepals. This compressed form, nothing but we are getting this flower. That compressed state we call it as modification. So flowers are nothing but what it is? Modified stem or modified shoot is termed as flower. So how many whorls are there? Which are the essential whorls? What is pistil? What is stamen? These all things need to be remembered. The flower is the main structure which is concerned with reproduction, and the reproductive organs or the sporophylls are produced within the flower. Now, a term has come here, sporophylls. These are nothing but a general term given for reproductive organs. If you look at these two structures, hope you can tell which one is male and which one is female, right? Stamens are the male, carpel or pistil is the female one. These are of two types, microsporophyll and megasporophyll. Please remember, whenever it comes micro, something which are produced more in number but smaller in size, right? More in number, small in size. So we know that in case of human also, male sex cells are produced in million numbers, right? There will be single ovum but male sperms are more. In case of plant also same situation. Male sex cells are produced more in number. So micro is the term which are related to the male. Megasporophyll is the term which is given for female. So there can be a question in an angiospermic plant. What is angiospermic plant? These are the flowering plants, right? Which one denote microsporophyll and which one denote megasporophyll? Microsporophylls are nothing but the stamen or the male reproductive part. What about megasporophyll? These are the carpel or the female reproductive part. Always remember, female sex cells are larger in size. That's why it is mega. Please remember this way, right? So this is the diagram of the structure of the stamen, which consists of anther and the filament. What about the carpel, which is also termed as the pistil, right? So what about this pistil? This consists of stigma, style, ovary. Within the ovary there is ovule, and this is the ovary wall, right? These are the, before we have seen within the flower, right, this pistil area or carpel and the stamen within the flower, and in this one we are just seeing that it's separate. Carpel is distinguished as ovary bearing ovule, style and stigma. What is a carpel? Which consists of ovary. Ovary has ovule. Apart from that, style and stigma. Stamen is distinguished as filament, anther, and one more structure we call it as connective. Now I tell you what is a connective. Till now we have not discussed what the connective is. So there is a long stalk. We know what is the name of this stalk, that is filament. This filament has this structure, right? We call it as anther. Now two lobes of this anther is connected by a structure. The structure we call it as connective. So what are connective? Connectives are the structures which connect two lobes of the anther together. This is the first lobe, this is the second lobe. These are connected by the connective. Now you need to remember one thing. This connective is a sterile tissue. What is the meaning of sterile? Which is unable to reproduce. So the meaning here is that connective is the tissue which connect two lobes of the anther, but this connective do not participate in the process of reproduction. So this is a sterile tissue. Sterile and fertile. Sterile means unable to reproduce. Fertile means able to reproduce. Now the whole process of sexual reproduction in flowering plants can be divided into three steps: pre-fertilization, double fertilization and post-fertilization. In first chapter we have said the entire reproduction can be divided into pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. But there is a speciality here. Here the fertilization happens twice. So we use the term double fertilization. Now pre-fertilization consists of, so we will start with the first one, that is pre-fertilization. In this pre-fertilization there are 4 steps. You have to understand it carefully. There are 4 steps which are involved in this pre-fertilization event. Just I am writing the 4th one, which is in the next page. Interaction, right? We'll see. First one is pollen grain formation. So we want to know what happens before the fertilization. First, pollen grain formation will be there. That means male reproductive part has to be formed. We will study how it is. Second one is embryo sac formation. So we will study how the embryo sac will form. Embryo sac is actually present in the female. Next one is pollination. How do they fuse each other, or how do they come closer? And once they come closer, are they going to accept each other or not? This is what we call pollen pistil interaction. If you look at next slide, you can see pollen pistil interaction also. So the whole process of reproduction consists of pre-fertilization event, fertilization or double fertilization, as well as the post-fertilization. So the first one is pre-fertilization event, in which pollen grain has to be formed, embryo sac has to be formed. Then, so what is pollen grain? Pollen grain actually has the male gametes in it. Pollen grains are not male gamete. This carries male gamete. Embryo sac is also same way, which carries female gamete. And what about pollination? How the male gamete and female gamete comes together. This is what we call pollination. And the next one will be pollen pistil interaction. Whether are they of same type, or what happens, are they able to fuse each other? That is what we call pollen pistil, because pollen is a part of male, pistil is a part of female. Are they able to interact each other? This is what will be the 4th stage. So next session we will see everything in detail under pre-fertilization event. Hope you like this video. If you have any doubt, repeat the video and thoroughly read your NCERT textbook or else any other book. Make sure that you follow the lecture in a sequential way. If you like the video, Please share with your friends and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.